I'm your host, Amir Zenzi, with
Ryan.
Ryan and Chandler, and today we will be discussing baseball flops and surprises this season. Chandler, you want to start?
Sure. Starting with the disappointment of this season, I have to go with the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, they're already a World Series favorite, some might say, but they just really haven't lived up to the expectations. With stars like Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, they really haven't found, they really haven't exceeded expectations. And for a surprise this season, I'm definitely going to go with the Cincinnati Reds. We all knew that they had a young core in Ellie De La Cruz and Spencer Steer, but we never expected the whole team to be this good. And they're just really shocking everyone, and I think they might have a shot at the playoffs if they keep this up.
I'm going to say the most disappointing team, especially last month, was the New York Mets. I saw a stat somewhere. At the beginning of the month of June, the New York Mets were 3.5 games out of first place. At the end of the month, they were 18.5 games out of first place. Yes, you heard that correctly. They won their first series in over a month just very recently. So that is obviously a disappointment. You just can't do that. And then the most surprising team, I'd have to think, is the Cincinnati Reds. Great rookie class. They're very aggressive. They play in a ballpark, which the ball travels extremely well. So that will really help out with your home runs and your base hits, allowing you to score more runs. So I think the Reds are your surprising team. Did not think they would do very well. Mets, just disappointment.
Yeah, one more disappointing team I feel like in the MLB this year is the San Diego Padres. I mean, what are they doing this year? They just moved Fernando Tatis Jr. to right field. They signed a new shortstop in Xander Bogaerts, and their infield is basically an all-star team. They have a good staff, and they have a good outfield. I don't get how this is not clicking for them. This is a real disappointment.
Do you guys think the Mets can turn it around this season?
I personally, as a Mets fan, I believe that they can, but at this point, their time's running out. Question?
What do you guys think about the Oakland Athletics?
Disgrace. They're a disgrace to baseball.
You in the Boston shirt.
Yes, what do you think about the Chicago Cubs or the White Sox?
They still have a chance.
Well, we all know the Cubs are always World Series favorites because the Cubs are the best team in the
I think
MLB.
I'm going to have to disagree with that.
No.
They've got a chance. They're only 7 games out. They're 5 games under 500. Baseball can turn very quickly.
Yes.
Yes,
And then the White Sox, their season is over.
we think. Yes.
You guys were talking about the Cincinnati Reds earlier. Only a game ahead of the Brewers in the Central right now. Do you think the Reds will keep it going, or do you think the Brewers will come back and win the Central?
I think the Reds are going to win. I think the Brewers are going to have a letdown second half. I think the Reds are going to find a way to pull this one out in the end. Yes.
I know you guys said the disappointing team was the San Diego Padres, but do you guys think with talents like Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Juan Soto, Yu Darvish, that they can turn it around and possibly make a wild card push? Because obviously the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks are going to win that NL West division.
Yeah. So on that note, I think that the Padres have shown signs of turning it around, but they just only have kept it going for like 1 or 2 games at a time. They need to string together more winning games, and they need to string together more, they haven't been playing as much as a team. Like, there's a good hit, and then the 3 next batters get out. Like, they need to put together quality at-bats and keep the line moving.
Question?
And last question for me. You guys, obviously the Cardinals have been a very disappointing team. Do you guys think Nolan Arenado or Paul Goldschmidt will have a new home by the end of this season?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility that they have a new home. I'd say Nolan Arenado more than Paul Goldschmidt, because Paul Goldschmidt is kind of older, and I don't think they'd get as much value for him as Nolan Arenado. And I feel like Nolan Arenado would suit the Cubs really well, because the Cubs could really use a third baseman. The Cubs could also use Paul Goldschmidt. The Cubs should. I feel like this would be a great deal for the Cubs.
You.
Speaking of the Reds again, Ellie De La Cruz, I think you guys talked about him before. Who do you guys think is going to win Rookie of the Year? Do you think he has a chance, or do you think right now it's Corbin Carroll and it's going to be Corbin Carroll?
I think it's gonna be Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah.
Because he's just a very flashy player and he's very popular. But I think Corbin Carroll has better stats than him.
Yeah, I agree with that because Ellie De La Cruz definitely has the following, and everybody knows him and more than Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, there's still 70 games left, so who knows?
And that's it for our show. Bye.